So in the app, we've got Knee Ability 0. Now we have Knee Ability Pro because we're in here using all our tools. I'm going to give you my best tips on each step of this. Members, visit us. You can message through the app if you want to come visit. One of our members is here now visiting, so not to put him on the spot too much, but we were just starting the workout, so he's going to start on here. You can put your stuff wherever you want. If you need any pep, we got Jocko going there. You can pop. You might need it by the time you finish the sled.
Oh, I'm sure.
So you'll start on here.
Okay.
And you'll notice it's got some resistance to it.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. You're already doing it right. So you're finding your rhythm. You're going to stay on there until your VMOs are actually smoked and tired. Then you'll take a short break. That'll make them more active. Then we're going to sled. As I was telling you, so I help a lot of older people, and backward walking alone can feel unstable because you have to support your body weight. So with this, you can hold on. When we've had older people visiting training, they are able to get much better burn here. So we can gradually increase the resistance, but you can support so you have less than your own body weight. Pushing a sled can also be less than your own body weight because you have handles to hold on to, and it'll start to move. But when you go backward, you're not holding on to something. You have to support yourself. So from a rehab perspective, this is a game changer to then get more results from the sled. If you get into a rhythm, and if you don't have pain, then you would take your hands off, and you would gradually try to spin it a little bit faster. Yeah. Starting to feel a little bit coming in? After about 5 minutes, you'll be smoked. So people with knee pain, it was found in 2019 that when they walk forward, this muscle that helps stabilize the knee doesn't engage like it does for someone without knee pain. But when they walk backward, it does then engage as if they were someone without knee pain. So by putting in the work backward, then even forward, because look at the positions here of pushing a sled. The knee is over the toe, but if you're not able to engage, if you're shying away from it, then going forward with the sled might not be a knee exercise for someone. So not all exercises are the same. Why do some people like squats but others don't? There's a difference here. Is that muscle stabilizing the way it should for someone without knee pain? Keep going until you're smoked. Starting to get there? Nice. So he'll go a couple more minutes. Then we'll hit the sled. So we move it out of the way. I'll show you like a real example here. I'm actually thinking through my feet. You feel like a nice stretch and strength in the feet. My knees are able to stay strong. So all of a sudden pushing a sled does become a knee exercise. In our case, we measure it off in the gym. We found that you can go about 200 yards and get a real combination of strength and healing effect. So in our gym, that means 8 times back and forth. So we start very controlled, pushing through the toes on the way back. So now I'm getting even extra knee rehab work. You'll notice we use a specific amount of weight on the sled because we find in any gym, oh nice, we'll get in on this round. So we found this is a good general amount of weight. Sweep it out of the way of your feet. That's it. Lean in until it starts to move. Lean your chest all the way in. It'll start to move. There you go. Now stay on your toes. That's it. You're going to be going down and back 8 times. As the reps go, you'll try to go farther. Like you'll almost try to jump from step to step when you go forward. That's it. And now backward, pushing through the toes just as you were there. Smooth, smooth. Yep. Once it's smooth, then make it go faster. So those are the 2 key intentions. When pushing a sled, smooth and then stride length. When going backward with the sled, smooth and then stride frequency. Now here's what we'll do. We'll end up fast forwarding to our 8th round on this. We'll see what that looks like. Performance and knee rehab at the same time. I would rate this as the #1 jump exercise. It's Mother Nature's leg workout. Because every step, getting stronger through the feet. Conditioning is incredible. So you can play sports and be dunking at the end when other people are tired. And by going at least as much back. All right, come on. What do you got? What do you got? Oh, yeah. There's nothing quite like it, having to go backward. So it becomes apparent to people when they visit. We had a New York Yankees player last week visit, and I was just challenging him as hard as he could backward, and he weighs like 40 pounds more than me, and just not even close. We've actually strength trained backward. All right, 2 more for you. This one and 1 more. Ready? Everything you got. What do you got backward? What do you got backward? So we've strength trained ourselves backward to the point we're so protected forward. You can literally work your way to world-class knee protection when playing sports, even if you don't have the genetics for it, even if you naturally have bad knees. Here we go. Last one. Come on, jump, jump, jump. That's it. Jump, 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 jump. Good job. Here we go. Last one. You get a 5-minute break after this. Everything you got. Come on. There's no loading. So I think there should be gyms like this all over the world where people can sled. There's nothing like it. Heart health, knee health, Achilles health, foot health. What's up, Max? And performance benefits at the same time. There's just nothing like it. How was that?
Torture.
So far, you've done knee ability 0 and back ability 0.
Yeah.
And you were telling me you're able to take the knee brace off, able to play basketball again, play with your kids.
Yeah.
Is that just off 0 so far?
Yeah, just off 0, adding a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
Wanted to come in here today to make sure I'm doing the right form.
Yep.
And identify any more weak links. Where I can just continue to develop. So.
Yep. So is that your first time getting to like a real sled session?
Yeah, I'll do it in my backyard. I'll go in circles, slow, steady pace for like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
This is different.
No, and that's the foundation. Like backward is the foundation, so that when you do exert yourself, you're actually fueling even more knee rehab by doing it. Like you probably, so like what was the muscle burn versus joint pain from doing that? Like this right here.
All muscle burn, no joint.
Exactly. And I mean, obviously if you're wearing a knee brace playing basketball, you've been through your share of knee pains. Like that's not normal. Like I was so used to like having to work through knee pain in order to try to get in shape or try to jump higher. So like this is the cheat code. That's why we all can fly, is because we're not beating our knees up in order to get our legs stronger pound for pound to jump higher. So not to mention you can see like compared to a normal leg workout where the foot is flat, without realizing it, you're like pushing through your toes every step forward, every step backward. So you're in those athletic positions. So thanks for going through that. I realize the next exercise, you don't even have to rest, believe it or not, to get into. Right here, I'll get in a good set for myself. If it ever felt tedious to do your tib raises, you were right, it was tedious. It's with body weight alone, like 0 program, you can actually get elite ankle strength, tibialis strength. But gyms aren't set up for it yet. So even though this seems like kind of common sense to have in a gym. If you have a seated calf machine in the gym, there should be a seated tib machine. So I found that we're actually getting our ankles and tibs much stronger by having this in the gym, because people just when they're casually relaxing, you can be like going to failure measurably on the tibialis. So even if someone's a bodybuilder, in fact, bodybuilders, this would probably help more than anyone because they're gaining so much mass everywhere but here. So if you build everything in the body, maybe this looks weird, but it's actually like it's much weirder to just skip a certain area. So I can't wait for you to try this one and just see like how simple things could be in gyms. There's actually a lot of similar machines, but this is the first where it's just a standalone. I reached out to Sornex, was like, look, like there's a lot of great tibialis stuff, even very similar to this, but none where it's just standalone. You can sit down, load it. Woo. That was a burn. Let's see if it's instinctive for you to get in there.
So both at the same time?
Yeah, what's cool is they're unilateral. So you're training them independently. Nice. And then the more you sit back, the more stretch there is at the bottom. Meaning like if you scoot your butt back a bit,
gotcha.
You'll feel a bit of, so you want to kind of start from that. There you go.
Bad ankle mobility, so that's probably where
Yeah, nice. Now you can go to failure. You just did the sled. Normally you would need that 5-minute break. But now that we have this, you can just sit down and do it. And I'll show Forrest here. You absolutely can get tremendous tibs like this. I'm gonna ask one of our guys who's a world-class jumper, and Connor, you did this probably for years, right? Before you ever did a tib bar machine.
Yeah.
So, like I know from Connor is insanely dedicated. He's been the most consistent on jump balance, which means mastering all your different plants, which is a huge blow to the ego. He was also a guy who just kept working on this. Like, this does work, but mentally it's gonna get boring. So the cool thing is this works. I still do this all the time. If I'm traveling or whatever, I just get in my reps like this. But you can see with this being around, your average person ends up getting way stronger tibs. Were you able to go to failure?
Yes.
Right?
Like
Pain-free?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're playing a sport, every time you decelerate, boom, whether it's to jump or stop, this is the first line of defense. So it's not like the tibialis magically makes the knee pain go away. It's that when this is too weak proportionally to everything above it, the knee ends up taking more of a beating than nature intended. Now you add in the backward work and the tibialis, and that's why those are the first 2 steps. All right, so you'll rest, and then you'll go one more time to failure. We're gonna get 2 sets while I set up the step-ups. I put my notes here so I wouldn't forget any crucial data. Yes, this is entertainment, but ultimately for me, this is just making sure I get the education across, whether I mess up my lines or whatever happens in these. So an important thing here when moving on to the step-up, you'll see we have a 3, 6, 9, 12 inches. Court's actually over there doing the next step. He's actually working on the split squat, which we'll get to. The next step off of the sledding and the tibialis is a reverse step-up. So we're controlling this position, lowering only to the heel of the non-working foot. That way we can't cheat and push off. So we have like a measurement now of how strong is my knee pound for pound to control my body. But we only want to work through what's pain-free. So yes, if I go, Court, sorry to steal this for a second. If someone with knee pain goes here on 1 foot high, for me, this is gonna help me jump higher and be even more bulletproof because there's no pain. But if there's pain to do that, it doesn't seem to work out. You wanna find your pain-free level. The point I'm getting to is oftentimes, maybe not often, maybe 10% of the time, even on the lowest step, even with assistance, the knee itself, like things have gotten so out of alignment that even that isn't pain-free. That's what I wanted to make sure I covered. Well, let's look back over here at the backward treadmill. So here, you're able to get this motion, the exact same motion as the reverse step up, but you're not having to control it down. You're just extending. And so this is fundamentally less painful than when you're having to control down. So if you can't even control down and you're going through this Knee Ability Pro formula, that's fine. You did your tibialis, go right back and do extra on the backward, and the better you get backward, eventually you will be able to do the step up. So maybe it takes a little more patience, but that's the formula. More of that rather than forcing yourself through pain. You want to check the form on these?
What's that? Yes.
Have you tried this kind of a step up yet?
The ones I've done, honestly, it's just been on a car ramp.
Oh yeah? Nice.
That's my extent of doing it.
A car ramp as a slam floor?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and I'm finding like, we're actually working on stuff to be able to do our step-ups and split squats, kind of like how we have a backward treadmill. But in the meantime, I find that bumper plates are great. It's very common. They're in most gyms. And so then you have, by using the same brand, you can at least measure your own progress. Yeah. And so we're seeing that getting like 12 inches or higher for basketball. Think you play basketball. Think how this relates. You're covering all the range you're going to use when you're playing. So it's like a direct bulletproofer. We're seeing that this has huge carryover to playing pain-free and to jumping without knee pain. So we're still going to do that 20 reps, high reps, control only to the heel, explode up. But I would say today, since it's your first time on this, rather than doing 20, maybe do 10 and then go up. And like, let's see where your level is. Yep. So start there.
I would say this is probably one of my weakest ones, this
and
split squat. Yeah, when I was starting out. So
if you know you have a worse knee, start on the worst one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you know that one's worse, if you know that the muscles and tendons on that side aren't as caught up to the other one, then you'll end up doing an extra set there. Like you'll start and finish on that side. Hi, welcome.
You said 10?
Yeah, since you're going to be finding. Oh yeah. Actually, let's just do the 2 sets of 20. for today, you'll do 20 here.
Okay.
If that's pain-free, you'll try 20 there.
Okay.
If not, you'll come back to here. So we'll just put in the 2 sets. It's because with all this work, you're going to be smoked anyways.
Yes,
we don't have to like,
I'm surprised my legs are good.
yeah, we don't have to like shoot for the moon in a single session because it's creating adaptation. If you're creating adaptation without pain, then you're putting the odds in your favor to end up with more ability and less pain.
I would say the tendons feel so lubricated right now. I usually have
good.
a little bit of pain doing
Yeah.
this, but just nothing right now.
Less because of the warm-up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, these specific tools, being able to go from the backward treadmill to the sled to that tib machine, that'll like if you walked out of here, like that could be a program for a year and your vertical would go up, basketball would get easier. All these additional steps are just going to get even more gains. Nice. Yeah, your form's great. The control is great. Nice. And so, yeah, so he's already making great progress, back able to play his sport, and he's been using a car ramp, he said, for his step up. So ultimately, you can get it done. Even you don't have to have all the tools. With zero, you could have literally nothing. You could figure out a makeshift tools. I modeled these after buying industrial-sized door stops. So you could buy some industrial-sized door stops. Nice. So got 20 reps here. Here you said about 15 to failure. Right. So for something like jumping higher or playing sports, it's one side at a time, so you're balanced. It's how easy is it to handle your body at the knee. So, I mean, you probably have, as crazy as it sounds, you probably have 5 years of jumping higher and playing basketball better just from mastering that. Not if you ever work through pain or start to change the form. So this has been called the $1 million knee exercise. And you see a bunch of guys sign big contracts lately. I was training multiple of those guys. Multiple of those guys were using knee ability and reached out. Their injuries went down. So if you go from playing with chronic pain to not playing with chronic pain, the game just gets a little bit easier. It's still mental. You could play through chronic pain, do great. But over the course of a season, your defense, your rebounding, it really adds up. So for you, as a dad who likes to play basketball, be patient, enjoy the process. You're gonna have so much gains just from this. It's like body weight training for your knee with just this. So now we'll move into the split squat. We're getting into position. We're only starting from here where the shin is like parallel to the floor. So someone who really struggles with the knee, we're saying, don't even give yourself this opportunity right here to lose tension and go out of focus. Start here, count to 5 seconds on the way down. Now notice we have all these benches behind this so you can slide them in. Notice we can go much higher on the step. 5 seconds down. Now here's where you can really make a breakthrough on the full knee bend, is 5 seconds up. You may find all of a sudden someone who can do a split squat needs assistance to do it. But what are we trying to do? We're just trying to own that full range of motion. So after a knee injury, a knee surgery, a period of losing strength in that full bend, it can be hard to get it back. Particularly if there's an imbalance between sides, because you go do a deep squat and one knee, like for you, your left knee doesn't feel maybe the same as the right. So all of a sudden, doing our split squat intentionally slow motion, trying to own every centimeter of it, you get a tremendous therapeutic effect. It's not as jarring, and you get much stronger. So this would be like my top advice for you, would actually be, because you're doing great on the backward walking, would be trying to master. So you're only doing 5 reps. You're gonna go 5 seconds down, 5 seconds up. Maybe you wanna start with some assistance?
These are on low back ability, so I definitely.
So we'll put these in, and then, no, you're good. Yep, you're good there. All right, give it your best shot in there. So you're gonna end up doing 2 sets of 5. Now your form's outstanding. You'll notice it's gonna, particularly the way up, is gonna be extremely challenging. So you're really owning that position rather than rushing through it. Also, you experienced the sled, so you felt how much strength effect you get. So it's a bit different. When you have no sled, it might take more reps to tire out. When you're able to sled in the session, your exercises, you can then just be like super precision. Nice. Oh yeah. Tough? Good job. Take a break. Yeah. Wrap on the low side first. We'll do like a moderate rep today. Notice I'm putting tension on each side. So what we're trying to do is, for one thing, simulate as if you had really strong knee tendons holding your knee together, because these add tension. So for most people, this ends up being less painful to squat for someone with knee pain than if they didn't have them on. But there's a really simple determining factor. You're going to try this today. The moment you're done, if it feels quite a bit better, then you're probably a candidate for it. And I'd say it's maybe 50-50. So for some people, based on like their knee issue, they really need this extra, they need the floss, they need things to stretch out around it. So you'll hold on here, I can hold that for you. Yep, and you'll do 10 to 20 deep squats with it. Great job, just like that. Good. So split squat is getting into full knee bend. It's worth knowing about floss bands. I strapped one below and one above the knee. I put tension on each side, a moderate amount of tension. That's going to hold things together, but it's also acting like a massage around the joint. So if one side doesn't bend as well as the other side, this is something to be aware of. See if it feels good for you. You don't have to do it. It seems to... Okay, so she says normally this would hurt, and with this feels good. So it's allowing her to get deep. She's able to get a leg workout by getting through a deep squat and with less pain. And when I take them off, we'll see if it feels like any looser than normal. I still recommend doing it in moderation. So we would typically do this before. Okay, that's good. So she did 14 reps. We would do this before or in place of an exercise that might normally be painful. So she may still do the split squats today. She wouldn't have to. Bear in mind, long term, if you just did that in place of the split squat, that would be totally valid. That would be fine, because you still got in work through a full range of motion versus not putting in that work. Since you're here with me today, let's at least see if we can scale into that now. Tension may become your best friend, because, so we know that left side has had a surgery, gives more problems. So the flossing could help give it some room, let the circulation get going. But now instead of, like if we did a comparison, so like for your left knee, this, like, so if a knee is like totally healthy and has no problems, then this might make it even more protected, what I'm doing now. But for a knee that's having issue on a full bend, that might be more problematic. So coming in here, getting the heel elevated activates the quads more. So getting the heel elevated could actually take pain away from the knee, puts more on the quads. So like when things are activated better, they hurt less. Kind of like when you go backward, it activates that muscle better. Well, when you elevate the heel, it also helps activate it better. Now you have this for support. I would try your first set with support. You're gonna try to count starting from this position, so not resting. You're staying under tension. You're gonna try to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Most people with an issue like what you're talking about kind of train themselves to sort of like spring out of the bottom and not feel that tension. So it might be embarrassing how tough it is at first, but I would rather have you here with assistance, but feeling that tension versus just going through the motion and not feeling the tension. So you're only gonna do 5 reps as a set. You're gonna do 2 sets of 5 today. Left leg up, good. Balance, that's it. Good, 5 seconds down. That looks great. Now 5 seconds up, that's it. That's it, right to there. Again, 4 more. So even doing this without assistance takes a lot of strength. You're doing a good job. 5 seconds down. Now the part where you're really gonna focus there, yes. Keeping tension on those quads. Good job. Whatever depth feels good on it, over time it may, especially with the flossing, deeper may start to feel a bit better. Don't force it. Keeping the tension is key on the way down, and then keeping the tension on the way up. That's it. Good, good. Short break between sides. How was that?
Good.
Good.
If I had gone much deeper, I started to
Yeah,
get, so I
yeah.
understand.
Yeah, you kept it in a good range. And by keeping that tension in the slow tempo, even as you're going down, you'll know like, oh, I could go a little bit lower or not. Versus if you just drop down, you could go too far. Exactly. Think about the next month, year, 5 years, 10 years. It'd be better to be building the tension and the ability than just going through just going through the motions. So it might not seem as impressive. Like for me, just doing this on flat ground with my own body weight is quite a challenge. And I could do 100+ pounds on a split squat. Yeah, but we're going to get into a little detail here. Step a touch further back with this foot. And now for you, since this is the more problematic side, you're actually going to keep your intention on stretching through here. We want extra flexibility through this back side. So you keep your intention on those hip flexors. That looks great. Good job. And now what you're going to do, so today, I'll have you do 2 sets on the left leg, 1 set on the right leg. But you could build that to 3 sets on that side, 2 sets on that side. You want to be getting 1 extra set on the weaker side. So every time you do this, until there's no issues, every time you do it, you want to start and finish on the more difficult side. If you think about how much room there is to gain, just by working to flat ground on a split squat with that control right there. But this, like having to control it, tension, 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 stopping right there, tension, tension, versus how much tension was that? Or that wasn't that. It doesn't mean, yeah, and there's different times for different things. Like with the sledding, we can go quicker. But this one, we can seem to get the most results from it, from that tension. My knees have never felt better in basketball, and I'm doing this kind of stuff, not just continually adding more weight. I've gotten to over 100 pounds, full range of motion on a split squat, exploding out, and that's totally fine, that's great, but I'm getting even better results by treating myself back as a beginner and trying to own that position. All right.
Yeah, because I've done this since March and now it's tweaking again, so I want to go back to the beginning and really do as much as I can to make it.
Yeah. Well, I think this is the one. I think this is the one where there's just really like a lifetime. I think there's a lifetime of gain off really trying to own that split squat. Wow. That was a good one. That was outstanding. But think how much tension you're putting in. If we can put in the tension without the pain, then we can make progress from that. And that's kind of what like the backward treadmill allows you to do. Like you do it at home, it allows you to, you're able to work, you're able to get tension. But think about that tension. Now we need to get that tension, but through a full range of motion. So your recipe is going to be keep doing your backward walking on your treadmill at home. That's awesome. Look, if I have to be able to dunk basketballs and I'm okay with this, then you can go slow too. I think that's a huge value on this exercise, is not letting any ego in and trying to own that position. It's freaking tough. It's a lot of work. Yeah, and even for this side, you said that this side the muscles are smaller. So the muscles that are smaller, you can keep the intention on those muscles. You'll feel it on the way up. Feel that tension. Nice. Good job. That's really good. Yeah, this is really going to help strengthen this whole right side. Other member crushing it on the sled push. Good job. So putting in that work backward. If you can walk, you could get into a backward treadmill situation and go backward. And then you could lean forward and slowly go with the sled. As it gets easier, you go for longer and longer steps. Good job. All right. We're working into the Nordic. He has a Nord stick at home, so he works on the eccentric. So this one, it's all about intent. We're just trying to bulletproof the knee long term. So if we're going to gain all this ability on one side of the knee, we want ability to be high on the back side of the knee. So if you've got that Nord stick, the best thing you can do is feel what level you can like control without pain, and then just build that level rather than like straining through a painful level. Let the gains add up. So Some people need to start out really bent and just feel that tension. But that would be better. Using a Nord stick, feeling that tension would be better than nothing at all. For me, I went 6 months with the Nord stick, so I can compare to having this. For me as an athlete, controlling it, there is another level to having to explode up and contract versus only going down. But I think it's more like a performance boost. I don't think that means the knee is less protected just by controlling the way down. So you don't have to have the full bench. We definitely like having the full bench. Let's see how your eccentric control is. So I think of this in terms of years, not weeks or months. I see this come into play as you do knee ability. Over years, you want freakish ability behind the knee. It's really that simple. It's body weight training behind the knee joint. Good job, good job. Nice. That's outstanding control. Sorinex uses like a 60 millimeter pad. So sometimes when people struggle with it, they don't have enough padding under the knee. So compared to most ways people are trying to do Nordics, this is going to be more padding. You want lots of padding for the knee. That's it. That's it. Good job. You're just going to do 2 sets of 6. That's it. You could be sore for the week. A couple sets of 6. It's a high force exercise, handling your whole body weight behind the knee. It doesn't take a lot. I find the magic on this is the consistency week to week. We only do this once a week in Knee Ability Pro. The other time of the week, we use the hamstring curl machine. Keeps it balanced out. You don't overtrain on one. Nice. Take a break. Yeah, you're doing a great job on those. I can tell you that compared to your body weight exercises on this side of the leg, now you're comparing here, like you're doing great. You're balanced. You're going to couch stretch now, and then you'll go back to this. I'll be back in a second. So finishing touch, my best tips, use a ton of padding. Be active through the quad. For some people that starts out like here. Well, then just be active there. In this program, we're now gonna stretch back, staying active, and then we're gonna lunge forward. But we're making progress on the split squat. So if I was doing like a left leg split squat, the right hip flexors are getting stronger and longer. So this is now a finishing touch just for fullest flexibility there. The knees definitely seem to heal faster, recover faster, have more ability to express themselves in sport when there's no tightness through here. Just think like if that's tight, well then when you run, when you jump, it's gonna be a bit more limited. So you're gonna do 20 pulses like that, trying to stay active. Yep, that's it. So we got a lot of padding. There we go. That looks good. Good, now you're gonna lunge forward, so stretching into the hip flexor. Nice, and then you're gonna go back. You feel that strength right there? There you go. Yeah, you're doing a great job. But I can tell from your split squat, you're getting strong, you're getting mobile from the split squat. I don't think you have to do this one, but it's a really nice finishing touch, especially when you're training your hamstrings. So the hamstrings, you're trying as hard as you can to go like this. So here, this is the opposite of that. So while you're resting from the hamstring, it's really nice to just keep it opened up. I just see better long-term progress when people are also working the couch stretch in addition to the split squat. Very nice job. 20 of those each side, and then you're done. You survived. Survived Knee Ability Pro. Good job. How'd it go?
Great, yeah.
Awesome.
First 5 minutes, man.
There's nothing quite like the sled.
Not at all.
Once the sled enters the regimen, it makes you rethink your exercises. Once I have sled in the regimen with the exercises, then I can be, well, what am I trying to get out of that exercise? Okay, with the split squat, mobility, ownership of the bottom position, with the step up, control on each side, balanced ability. So I'm not having to think about the workout to like set records. It's like, what am I trying to extract out of each tool? Because the sled, you can already go, you can give that like that testosterone outburst on the sled on something that's totally safe. Whereas then when you get into free weight exercises, yes, like the risk goes up when you put caution to the wind and go all out. Yeah. So I'm glad you got to experience that, even just for the context in your own training. Like even if you went back to zero, you would have more context of what you're doing. Yeah. So good job.